What's up, superstar? I'm Coy Wire. This is CNN 10. It's Friday, and it's also Valentine's Day. I'm feeling the love. You're the other half to my equation and then some. Without you, this show's like a broken pencil, pointless, like a ring without a hand, like a beach without sand. I'd go on, but we've got to get you your news, so let's go. We start today with inflation, which looks to be going in the wrong direction. Up, reaching its highest rate since June of last year. Inflation, remember, is an increase in the price of goods and services. Inflation reached a peak of 9.1% in 2022. Those high prices came down some, but have stayed stubbornly high since then. The latest data from the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, shows inflation is reversing recent progress. The CPI measures price changes across commonly purchased goods and services. Since December's report, consumer prices rose at their fastest pace since August of 2023, resulting in an annual inflation rate of 3% for the 12-month period that ended in January. This all means many commonly purchased goods and services got more expensive in January, something economists were not expecting from the report this week, which was estimated to have barely any change from December's data. Instead, the January report came in blazing hot pretty much across the board. While inflation has slowed significantly since its 40-year peak in 2022, most of the categories measured saw increases last month, especially energy and food prices. It's an unwelcome surprise at a time when Americans are growing tired of high costs of living and food prices, and uncertainty in the economy is building following the Trump administration's tariffs and other economic policies.
It's really hard to find anything good here. This was a setback, a significant one, and one that we were not expecting. So the big number here is 3%. That's the annual inflation rate for January. That is the highest level since June. That was not expected to happen. The monthly rate also ticked higher. That is not what you want. Digging in, core, which excludes food and energy, both those figures also went the wrong direction. So why is this happening? Well, there's a number of different drivers here. Everything from hotels, airfare went higher. Egg prices were actually a significant part of this as well. We know the bird flu is a massive problem. There's an egg shortage. So we saw that egg prices went up by 15% month over month. That is the most that we've seen on a monthly basis since June of 2015. And look at that, on an annual basis, the last 12 months, 53% increase for egg prices. That is really very significant. Now, when we look at the trend here for inflation, the problem is that the progress has really stalled out here. Right now, the goal is 2% inflation. We are now at 3%. You see, there's been a lot of improvement from that inflation crisis of 3 years ago. We had 9% inflation. We're not there right now, thankfully, but it is ticking higher, right? That is the exact wrong direction that you want to see.
Pop quiz hot shot. What U.S. state has the official motto of Eureka? New York, Idaho, Pennsylvania, or California? Your answer here is California. The motto, Eureka, is a Greek word that means I have found it, and it's been on the state seal since 1849. Have you ever heard of the Chumash people, an ancient civilization who for thousands of years have inhabited an area in central California between Malibu and Paso Robles since way before European settlers arrived? And while many Chumash ways of life were lost over time, new generations are reviving some of the ancient traditions, like cultivating native species of plants to use for their medicinal properties. Our Julia Vargas Jones shows us how the Santa Ynez band of the Chumash are passing down the knowledge of their ancestors to the next generation.
Under the shade of an old oak tree, a special group assembles to learn ancient wisdom.
So we're standing here under this beautiful oak tree. We call this ku, and we're standing in our medicinal garden. Haku yila maktuka liva shishwa zavala, alap alahulapu, ni alap shawa, kalaspahan aki aklu na kisi sonaten akahuka hisamala. Hello everyone, my name is Levi Zavala. I'm from Santa Ynez in the Shawa clan, Samala Chumash.
Levi Zavaya is responsible for passing along indigenous plant knowledge to his tribe.
We have all these medicinal plants, as you see behind you right over here. That is huapsh. It's the stingy nettle. That's really good medicinal plant. Right here we have onchochin, or yerba manza. It almost looks like a carrot, right? So check that out. Smell it, look at it. That's really good for liver cleansing. And see, our ancestors knew all this. They had so much time to study this.
The Chumash people settled in an untamed and undeveloped Santa Ynez Valley in Central California no less than 13,000 years ago.
Aku kakti Diego Cordero, lapsuchtun. My name is Diego Cordero. I'm a Chumash person from Santa Barbara, and I work for the Santa Ynez Chumash Environmental Office.
Diego Cordero is tasked with growing and caring for local plants, keeping them intact and thriving for future generations. He says many native plant populations have declined over time due to urban development and the effects of climate change. The nursery contains about 3,500 plants, many of which possess deep cultural meaning to the Chumash. Plants like the juncus used for basket weaving, and dogbane for rope and string.
We were always raised to say that these things haven't been lost, they're not dead, they're asleep. And our job as Chumash people is to wake these things up again.
For the students and elders taking part in the day's outdoor classroom, there is a sense of pride in revitalizing ancient practices and keeping the traditions alive.
I feel like it's good to know your culture and where you come from, and then not only that, but also be able to learn it so that way you can pass it on to the next generation.
I love learning about my ancestors, love going to my grandmother's house, reading books with her. I like to talk in my language to just kind of show people the unique stuff we have and everything.
For the youth to see the elders supporting what they do, it's just a way to know that the native plants, the medicinal teas, and some of the materials needed for basket weaving can be collected by the youth.
And for the teachers like Cordero and Zavaya, it's inspiring to know the long chain of shared knowledge won't soon be broken.
I've put a lot of effort into making this nursery a space that's welcoming and accessible for elders and children. It is something that they can participate in that relationship, and they'll pass that on to future generations.
These plants helped our people thrive. You guys are the future. You guys are our future, and you will be the ones sharing this knowledge when we're gone.
Today's story getting a 10 out of 10, the excellent form of a paddleboarding dino. No, it is not Halloween in Florida, but the Martin County Sheriff's Marine Unit had to do a double take when they spotted this royally funny paddleboarder making their way down a canal. There was some dynamite maneuvering, but in a costume like that, Jurassicing for trouble. They nearly wrecks themselves right into a pier, but look at that. I know how they did it. Tiny little T-Rex arms and all. They pulled themselves up. Well, kinda. We think they made it up. All right, we've got a special Valentine's Day shout out going to the Timberwolves at White Knoll High School in Lexington, South Carolina. Rise up. Thank you for making us part of your day. Cue that Friday music, not air. Yo Falcons in Plainfield, Illinois. Mr. O and Mr. Zimmerman at JFK Middle School. I see you. Thank you for reminding us that the most important tool to succeed, believe you can succeed. All right, just like many of you, the show is on winter break next week, but we'll see you right back here on the 24th. Shine bright, y'all. You are more powerful than you know. I'm Coy Wire, and we are CNN 10.